You were just standing there with the wind in your golden hair. Didn't know your name, but I could feel it with every heartbeat, every time that our eyes would meet. Didn't know back then. And even in my wildest dreams, I didn't think that we could be together. Am I living in a fantasy, or is this for real? Never thought that you could fall for someone like me. Never thought that you could fall for me. Never thought that you could fall for someone like me.
Hey you, and welcome back to my channel for another speed build. This time I actually tried to build a tiny home with the restriction of only using 64 tiles, while also trying to make room for up to 3 Sims. Now, I am not very good at building small or tiny homes, so hopefully this didn't turn out too bad. I am much better and more comfortable at building my normal size family homes on a 30 by 20 lots, but I still wanted to test myself with these new limits that came with tiny living. Now, if you are new here, then welcome to my channel, of course. I am Serefina, a Pikachu obsessed, proud to be dog mom, gamer girl who loves to make speed builds. Now, if you do like to watch speed builds, then I do of course hope you consider subscribing if you haven't already, and also remember to click that notification bell so you will get notified whenever I post something new. Now, as for today's speed build, as I already mentioned, it is a tiny home for a little family of 3 Sims. I made room for 2 parents and 1 child, where the parents' bedroom is kind of multifunctional. I really wanted to use the Murphy bed that came with tiny living in this building, but it is really big and I didn't really like to have something that big in the living room, since I already was kind of hoping to use the bigger TV setup. So yeah, I decided to make a small parents' bedroom instead with the Murphy bed, so that when the bed is up you can still use the floor space in that tiny room for some other activities. I personally like the thought of having a yoga mat here, so I put a yoga mat under the Murphy bed as well. And I kind of thought that this might also be a good space to do some school projects if you have Parenthood installed, so then I think it's only the children and teenagers that bring the school projects home, but then at least you have a place inside to do those as well. But yeah, I'm sure you can find some good use for all this floor space in this room as well. If you have anything more bigger or whatever that you want your Sims to do for a day, then you can do it when the bed is up, and then just kind of pack it away, and you can take down the bed again and sleep on it, I guess. Now, as for the second bedroom, this is of course meant for a child, but it can also be used for a teen. I did, however, place a toy chest and a plushie. So yeah, I did have a child in mind, but you can always remove those items and make it a bit more teen-like, then yeah, you're good to go. As for the rest of the house, I made a very small bathroom on the second floor with a shower, a sink and a toilet. I believe this room is only a 2 by 2, so yeah, it's very small and there wasn't room for a bathtub, so I guess that makes it a bit unpractical to have a toddler here or even a dog. So yeah, it's nothing too fancy though. As for the living space, it is kind of an open floor plan, but I kind of tried to divide it a tiny bit with just a simple wall. It did, however, turn out pretty spacious for being a tiny home, at least I think it did, and it should have most of what you need as well. So there's of course a little living room section with a small couch and a chair to be able to watch some TV or read a book. There is also a full dining table with 4 seats, so your Sims or the Sims that live here can at least have their family dinner together. And then of course the kitchen, which is a lot smaller than I would usually have made. But yeah, that's kind of the only way to save some space. Only give the counters that are really necessary to make some food. And I think the only times when I build kitchens this small, it might be in starter homes, but even in some of my starter homes, I think the kitchens have been bigger than this one. So yeah, that was kind of a strange experience. I kind of missed making a bigger kitchen. By the way, this house is nowhere near a starter house, even though it's kind of furnished like one, I guess. I mean, I tried to make it a bit more homey than a starter home. But again, it isn't really, or I never meant it to be a starter home. I just wanted to have some fun with a tiny living and just place whatever furniture that I liked. I believe the price is somewhere around 60,000 simoleons as well. So yeah, nowhere near a starter price. But again, you can find such information down in the description as well if you are curious. This might also be a good time to kind of talk about the color scheme that I went for this build. As the title already might have suggested, it is a lilac tiny home, so purple was kind of the inspiration for this build, both for the outside and the inside. This kind of happened after I had some fun decorating the outside with almost only purple. Now, this is not a solid color challenge or anything. I just wanted to play around with a color that I don't usually use too much of. At least I didn't really use too much of it before, not exterior wise at least. I really wish we had some more color choices when it comes to the outdoor paneling. I have a tendency to make only blue and brown builds, since I kind of like those wood panelings that came with cats and dogs best. But in those wood panelings, the color swatches that are blue tones and brown tones those are kind of the only ones that I can combine with the base game, and I do prefer combining different textures just to kind of make the outside a bit more interesting. It's not very realistic maybe, but it's just something that I like to do, and it's only possible with the cats and dogs paneling plus base game. But again, it is only the blue and the brown tone that I'm able to kind of combine them. I could use white, but I always find the white swatch is a bit strange. It's not fully white, it's always a bit bluish, grayish or whatever. It's never really white. So yeah, to kind of change up the outside of this build. I mean, this tone still looks very blue in my eyes. It is supposed to be a bit of a lilac color, I guess, but yeah, it is still looking pretty blue in my eyes, especially when the shadow hits the house. That makes it even worse. So to kind of make the color pop a bit more, I used a lot of purple flowers around the place, so hoping it would kind of help out, or at least give that purple vibe and not the blue vibe that I always have. So yeah, I hope I succeeded on that area, but I don't know what your opinion is on the color. Now, I also kind of wanted to mention quickly about some activities that I placed around the build. So again, the lot and the house are very small, so there's a limited amount of space where I can place activities, especially with the fact that I love decorating and I love landscaping, and I do love kind of this realistic feel, like placing a debug car that doesn't do anything, but I like the feel of it. So yeah, that's kind of a waste of space, of course. So if you want to have a basketball hoop, you can just remove the car and have a basketball hoop there or whatever. But for what I chose to have is, of course, this little pool corner. It should be more than big enough for your Sims to just swim some laps. I mean, it's not proper laps in my opinion, but yeah, they can still keep active and stay in shape, I guess. There's also this is gonna be the grill area as well, so your Sims can kind of grill some food outside, and it will have a bigger dining table than the inside. I believe that dining table has 6 chairs, so if your Sims get any visitors, they can eat outside if the weather allows it. If you don't have seasons installed, then that is of course not a worry for you, but it is for me. So yeah, that is kind of a bit tricky, but then again, they have room for at least one Sim to visit, depending if you have 1 or 2 Sims living here. No, 2 or 3 Sims living here. I myself prefer to just have one single sim, but with one child in this case then, but that's kind of me, so then you would have had the room for 2 sims to visit, so yeah. There's some different choices here as well. And then you have, of course, have the inside as well, and here I placed, of course, a TV in the living room, and it is the one from Tiny Living, so as far as I know, that is also a bookcase and a radio at the same time. I might be mistaken on that. I am not really sure. I kind of guess both TVs from Tiny Living counts as both a bookcase, a radio and a TV. I know the smaller one does. I haven't really checked the bigger one. But it should at least be a bookcase, I guess. Besides that, you have also, of course, the yoga mat that I already mentioned earlier. That is in the parents' bedroom under the Murphy bed. And in the kids' room, you have, of course, the toys options as well. Further did I not really find a good spot for a PC or a desk. So I just recommend you give your sims a laptop that they keep in their inventory and just place it down at the dining table whenever you need to use it. Same counts kind of with homework. Either let your sims do it at the dining table, or they can actually do it on the side of their bed or on the couch. So that again should not really be a gameplay problem. But yeah, there is not much to say about this tiny build, of course. I mean, it is very small. I did, however, go all out with especially decorating the outside, I guess. The inside, again, it was kind of simple. I mean, I didn't want anything to kind of obstruct the walkway through the house, since everything is already kind of crammed together. And I still wanted to have this bit of a cozy feel as well, so that's kind of with all the seating options and stuff. So I made the room for the 3 sims to sit in the living room. And then you have the rest kind of has to stand up or sit at the dining table, I guess. It's just the way it is, I guess. But yeah, like I said, I prefer myself to play with one single adult with maybe a kid. And yeah, if you like to just have one single sim, then that is fully possible as well. You could, of course, turn one of the bedrooms into a home office or a place to paint or whatever you want. So yeah, the possibilities are endless, and you can kind of fix this to be whatever you want or however it fits your household best. But yeah, with all that said, I don't think I can tell you much more about this build, of course. For now, if you do want to download this build, you can find it on the gallery under my username Serefina with 3 A's, or under the hashtag SerefinaYT. But all that information you can always find back down in the description as well as some links if that makes it easier for you. Besides that, always remember to have move objects on before placing any of my builds, just to be sure nothing gets removed. I do hope you still liked this build and enjoyed this video, and if you did, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of my creations, you can always subscribe to my channel or follow me on Twitter and Instagram. For now, thank you so much for watching, and I do hope I see you next time. Bye bye!
Dream up a world of pirates, climb the highest tree, fall down. Mama, I'm
at a tree. I remember how it started. I was lost in a dream when the fire in my heart said an open rose. I've already found sunlight, the feeling grows, and anything sounds alright. I'm breaking loose, living in the moment in my own balloon. This year I'm going to start a new chapter. Ignore the tears and only write down the laughter. An open rose. I've already found sunlight, the feeling grows, and anything sounds alright. I'm breaking loose, living in the moment in my own balloon. I glide across the ground and over the ocean, and you can't force me down as long as I'm open, like a rose that already found sunlight, the feeling grows, and anything sounds alright. I'm breaking loose, living in the moment in my own balloon.
I know as the daylight grows how I am supposed to feel, to make the same mistakes, to be part of something real. We walk, stay and talk, suffer love I have to steal. With blinking eyes through a bad disguise, we move on to the appeal.
I've been walking on the same shore ever since the time I left you on the dark side with a promise and a rhyme. And everybody else around are beating down on me to leave the only good thing a disaster meant to be. And if I was to be on trial for every wrong I did, the courthouse would be filled with people waiting to get rid of the one that ripped their lives apart and shattered all their dreams. They locked me up forever